Hey traders, welcome back to another daily profit and loss recap video. Today is Thursday, August 10th. I just finished up trading for the morning and I finally put an end to my green streak. I took a loss today of $312 with one losing trade. So in this video, we're going to just talk about my thought process behind this trade so that hopefully you can take something from my trading and apply it to your own. So with MF today, this was the stock that I traded. MF was gapping up a bit in pre-market. We can see yesterday it had a sell-off. Opened up right under $2 per share, kind of just faded and sold off all throughout the entire day, consolidated towards the end of the day in the 140s. And again, here in the extended hours trading, in yesterday's after hours, and in today's pre-market session, it started to gap up a bit. So my thought process on this trade was there are probably going to be some short sellers that held onto their short positions overnight from the previous day. And now, because we're gapping up, they're going to be forced to buy to cover once the market opens, just because they were most likely expecting it to continue fading to new lows overnight. And now, because it's gapping up, they're going to be at risk of watching their position turn into a loss, and they're probably just going to buy to cover those positions, and that can cause a little bit of a short squeeze. So I was looking for a pop back up into the twos. So I took a starter position here at the market open, right around $1.80 per share. From there, we started to sell off a bit. I added some shares into this dip down in the 170 area. I ended up with a total of 6,210 shares on this trade with an average price of about $1.75. And as you can see, it kind of did move in my favor for a bit. It pushed up to a high afterwards of $1.88. So realistically, I could have made a nice little profit on this trade if I would have been locking in profits up there in the 180s, but I guess technically I did get a bit greedy on this trade because realistically there were quite a few signs based on the price action that I should have just taken that small profit and moved on from the trade up in that 180 area. For example, when it pushes back up here, it fails to break above this opening range. We can see there are quite a few times here right in this $1.88 level where it fails to break above, turns it into resistance, has a few quick sell-offs down under the VWAP. All of those were kind of red flags for this position. So I guess technically I really should have been quicker to lock in profits and move on from this trade, but I was looking for at least a push up into the 190s, if not over $2 per share. So I held on to this trade. My original risk level was going to be down in the 150 area just because of the previous day's closing price being $1.55. But finally, I lost my patience on this trade and ended up just selling at about $1.70. Took a loss of $312 on that trade, and that was the only trade that I placed today. There were quite a few stocks that gapped up this morning in pre-market, but none of them really had any follow-through at the market open. On top of that, we had a lot of failed opening range breakouts. For example, MGIH. This is one that I want to talk about because someone in the Market Master group brought up this trade today. The opening range breakout level for MGIH today was $3.10. So if we go ahead and just draw that level here on our charts, $3.10, that's going to be our opening range breakout level. We can see it very quickly pushes above that, hits a high of $3.25, and then comes straight back down. So if you weren't very, very quick to lock in profits on this trade, odds are this would have been a losing opening range breakout. And the fact of the matter is that this is what happens from time to time. Every strategy is going to deal with losses. No strategy is going to work 100% of the time. And the reason that I wanted to give this example in particular is because with MGIH, if we take a look down here at the daily chart, we can see this line going across here was today's opening range breakout level. We can also see that there are quite a few times here on the daily chart where the stock spikes up into that area. Obviously, it's not perfect. There is a little bit of variance here, but it spikes up into that area, rejects it, and comes straight back down. So there is definitely some resistance here from about $3 per share all the way up to about $3.50. On top of that, looking at yesterday's price action, this stock spiked up yesterday as well, and there is quite a bit of resistance once again right in that $3 to $3.30 area. So because of that, this was a trade that I did not get into today, despite there being an opening range breakout. And I wanted to mention this because I'm not even sure if I've mentioned this in these daily profit and loss recap videos yet, even though I've talked about the opening range breakout strategy so many times. One thing that you always want to check on different time frames is going to be nearby levels of resistance. If a stock has an opening range breakout, but there is a ton of nearby resistance, you're probably going to be better off avoiding that trade because it is going to have a higher chance of getting rejected straight back down, just like we saw today with MGIH. Alright, but aside from that, since I only had one trade to recap today, I wanted to go over a few of the questions that were asked today in the Market Master group. We had a question today from Noodle. They said, I've noticed I've been buying too early and watching prices just fall, maybe due to my lack of experience or not wanting FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. Bought MF at the open at $1.84. Any advice here? So if we go back to MF, this was also right around the time that I was buying this stock this morning, pretty much right away at the market open. I will say though that as I was buying it, I did have a plan in place. I knew that I was going to be risking all the way down to the 150 area. So that's why I took a very small starter position initially into this trade, and then I added some more shares later. But that being said, if you're someone that is kind of struggling with FOMO, today in particular, there were not very many solid trade setups this morning. So on days like today, it is very easy to have FOMO. And when you see a stock that might have potential for a run, you might just jump in, even though the trade setup might not be that great in the first place. And I wish I could give a better answer or some better tips, but the reality is that that's going to kind of go away a little bit with experience in your trading. At least for me, once you've been trading for a while, you start to realize that there are going to be so many different trade opportunities that you're going to miss out on every single day. And that doesn't mean that you're a bad trader. The reality is that there are going to be only a few really solid setups, especially for the strategies that you're trading, and your goal should be to focus on those few setups and realize that you only need one or two solid trades every single day to make some really solid profits in the market. In another question today from Jules, they were looking at the stock MF as well. The volume profile on the daily chart is between $2.40 and $2.50. Is it wishful thinking that I could hold on to the stock for a swing back up to previous day's highs in the coming days or weeks? It has earnings coming up as well, and has been gapping at earnings in the past. I have tried before and have always been unsuccessful. Is it just me not wanting to let go or take my hit, or is the play still there for the day even though I'm seeing lower lows forming? Taking a look at the daily chart for MF, this is a stock that just about a week ago had a very big gap and go to the upside. And my advice for this type of setup is to never let your day trade turn into a swing trade. If you're turning your day trade into a swing trade, odds are that's just because you don't want to take your loss on the trade, or maybe you see there being more potential in the next couple of days. Whatever it may be, you can always rebuy your shares in the future. And holding this position overnight would just be a very unnecessary high risk, because the reality is that this can very easily gap down to 150 tomorrow, and it can then continue to fade back down to the low ones just as easily as it could gap back up over 2 and start spiking up to 250. You're almost always going to be better off just taking your loss or taking any small profits that you may have on a day trade, as opposed to letting that day trade turn into a swing trade. Alright, but anyway, that was my main focus of the day. I only traded the stock MF and I ended up with a loss of $312. I hope you found some value in this video, and if you did, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you want to hear about these stocks that I'm trading in real time, as well as work with our team of traders, get access to our day trading swing trade alerts, our detailed trade plans, our live custom scanner streams, and so on and so forth, all of that can be found in the Market Master group. There's going to be a link down below in the description for you to get signed up. But anyway, thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck with your trading.